Stan here from Rocky Creek. Hope everybody's doing pretty good. So today, first I need to disassemble the $60 DIY livestock trailer because like I said, we want to use those panels in the garden. So I'm going to go ahead and get that disassembled. I'll show you how easy that is to do. We're going to start some early trellis systems down in the garden if our plants ever do well, but I'll have it there in case they get to that point. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, get it down there, and get that stuff punched in, and we'll go from there. So all we need to do to get this thing off, in case y'all didn't know, so I use these heavy duty zip ties and zip tie this to the frame. So I got a few of those at the bottom, and then other than that, we just need to get these things unspun right here and take it apart, and you'll get to see how easy that is from right there. So getting the zip ties off, crazy part is, it's probably the longest process of taking the thing apart. Now, I will say this, it was my first time using it. I wasn't sure if the connector pieces were gonna do the job. So I did get a little bit overboard with the zip ties. Realistically, now that I've seen it in action, I would probably just do the big ones down at the base, just to keep from running a bunch of ratchet straps, and then maybe just, you know, two or three here or there, just to make sure everything's good and snug. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these things untwisted, and they untwist pretty easy. So let me see if I can show you real quick how easy it is. Maybe I can do it even one-handed holding the camera to give you an idea. So how these work, if you haven't seen the other video, is that these are basically like a corkscrew, and it screws the two panels together. So all I gotta do to separate it is I just rotate it like so, and you can see how it starts to unthread. Now if I had two hands on this thing, I could get it going pretty fast. You can see how much it's already coming undone, and I just keep doing it like that, and you can see right there how it just starts unraveling from around the panel. So yeah, you get a slight movement in the panels because it doesn't lock them super tight, but in terms of keeping an animal in, it does just fine. So like I said, if I was doing this with two hands, I'd have this thing out super fast, but we've almost got it here. Boom. So you can see now they would separate. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the camera down, and I'm gonna bust out the rest of these real quick, and it shouldn't take me very long at all because these things are super slick. I really like them. All right guys, I got it all disassembled. You can see how little room those connectors take up, so I can just bunch those together. I'll probably run some of those little cheap zip ties I get from like Harbor Freight, or I'll wrap some rope around and keep those all bunched together. So then we got our stack of cattle panels right here, ready to go, which we'll utilize these for our trellis system. I'd say in total time, I wasn't running a timer, but it didn't take me much time at all. I would say maybe 5 minutes at the most. It was really easy to do. Really, the only reason why it took me even that long is because I don't really know what the best order would be to take those panels off. So sometimes there was a little more tension on them, or as I was doing it, the panel would try to fold in. So, but overall, it only took me a few minutes, and it's even faster putting it together than it is disassembling it. So overall, I'm still very happy that I used that. If y'all haven't seen that video, go check it out. Like I said, we've also learned not only is it good for transporting livestock, but it made a fantastic hay trailer for if you're a small scale farm and you just get square bales of hay. So I'm gonna get these cattle panels carried down to the garden, and we're gonna get ready to pound some T-posts in and get those things set up so we can have a trellis system down there in the garden. Note to self, when you have multiple pieces of cattle panel, don't grab them all at one time if you don't want to pinch your hands. It's not that they're so heavy, but it squeezed the fire out of my skin on my hand. I learned that lesson, won't do that again. I got a couple of these old T-posts right here. We're gonna get them. These ones right here, if you're not sure what these are fiberglass posts that come with Premier One fencing system. I'll talk about those here in just a little bit as to why they're obviously not being used. I'm only running a small section today, right there where I have those like 2 or 3 cucumber plants that held on, and I want to get them so they can go ahead and get started on running. And we'll try to get that set up right there. And then sometime here in the next day or two, I'm gonna go get some more T-posts. We'll finish running the rest of it. All right, so for today's focus, I'm focusing on these 3 right here. And the reason being that they're getting a lot of blooms, and I'm hoping that maybe these 3 are gonna hang on, and I wanna go ahead and give them something to run on. Now, if you noticed, all of them are running this direction. That would probably be a kind of westerly, southwest direction is what they're trying to run. So I think I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna start the cattle panel right at the edge of this one, and we're gonna let it go just beyond the next one right there. And that way, maybe since it's naturally wanting to run that way, must just be the way the sun rises and the way it's getting its sun trying to go after. Because if you notice, these ones are kind of doing the exact same thing. It should only be another day or 2 before I get my other T-posts, and we're gonna get these and one set up for the green beans as well. But I really want to get these 3 started. I'm gonna go old school with a good old sledgehammer and just some Rocky Creek horsepower, and we're gonna get those pounded in, and then we'll get these things hooked on real quick. I'm on the hunt for my sledgehammer now. If there's anything I've learned, guys, is I definitely need to improve on my tool organizational skills. We don't have an outbuilding right now, and so between my garage and wherever I can fit stuff, that's kind of what I do. When I get to doing it like that, I get misplacing stuff, can't find it, and so I'm gonna check this hay garage and see. Aha! Oh, what is this? Y'all see that? Here, let me roll up the door here and maybe we can see a little better. There's not enough light, but I'm pretty sure that's a bird's nest. Let's take a look at it. I just got the door rolled up so we can get some more sunlight in here. Of course, there's my sledgehammer right there, so we're gonna grab that, but check this out. I don't know if you can see there, but we've got some bird eggs. I don't want to touch them because I don't want to disturb them, but it looks like they're like a cream color or white with brown speckles. One of them's kind of odd shaped, so I feel like it may be, I don't know if you noticed this one right there. It's very odd shaped compared to the others. So anyways, that's pretty cool. I have no idea what kind of bird it is. I'm not real sure how it got in there either because I keep that down. I'm assuming maybe just came in through the bottom part. I know I've seen them grab hay and straw for nests before, and maybe decided, huh, that's a nice little spot. Hey, there's a bird's nest with eggs in it down here. You want to come see it? Yeah. Hey, it's going to be hot. I told you put shorts on.
I don't want to.
Okay, well, I guess you just got to wear your rainbow pants some days. All right. Hey, now listen. Don't touch it though, okay? I don't know if it's true, but they say if you touch it, mama bird might not come back.
Oh my god.
Is that pretty cool or what?
Yeah, one of the eggs is like lumpy.
Yeah, that's what I actually was just talking about that. It made me wonder if maybe, you know how some eggs will hatch and some won't? Makes me wonder if maybe that one's gonna hatch. What do you think? What kind of bird do you think it might be? Think a robin? What kind of bird do you hope it's gonna be?
A cardinal.
A what?
A cardinal.
A cardinal? Could be. I hope it's an ostrich.
What?
An ostrich.
Those are like going to be way too big for those eggs.
You think that might be an emu egg, like Coghill had?
Emu eggs are like that big.
Yeah.
Not like that big.
All right, enough about the bird's nest. Let's grab a sledgehammer and let's get to pounding. So I've been talking about how terrible my garden's been doing and all that stuff. Well, I guess if it don't do well, I've been just throwing some of my rabbit manure and stuff right here until I get a actual compost thing set up. And heck, I got all kinds of random plants and squashes and melons and who knows what else growing out of it. So who knows, maybe I'll get something out of it, because obviously just throwing stuff together probably works better than what I'm doing right now. Now guys, please understand that this in-ground large gardening is completely new to me. I'm pretty good at knowing how to do stuff with raised beds because that's what I'm used to. So I'm really trying to wing a lot of this right now. So I think what I'm going to do, because it's just me really holding stuff, is I think I'm going to start by pounding one of my T-posts in right here, since they're going this way. And maybe I can get it attached to that post first, and that'll maybe support it enough, and then I'll gauge where to put my other T-posts after that. With this size of a panel, I'm pretty sure probably just 2 T-posts will do to hold it for just this little short stretch I got going on, and then over time I'll connect it out this way to these others. So So instead of using T-post clips, I'm opting just to use good old zip ties. Hey, for me, this is like modern day duct tape. If when in doubt, I zip tie it. That's just what I do. But for me, it's just, I'm not sure 100% if this trellis system is gonna stay where it is. And for me, in time's sake, I'd rather just, I get a pack of like, I don't know, 20 or 30 of these at our local Harbor Freight for like, I don't know, $2. And so for me, it's just easier just to snip these and move them and replace them. I just find it more convenient for me. You do what you want, but yeah, I'm just gonna be using about 2 or 3 of these on each post to hold it where it needs to be. So I do think though that with these 3, and they're gonna continue to run this way, I'm very confident of that, in the way that the size works out, that obviously if this one keeps running, it's gonna end right there. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and use all 3 T-posts in this spot right here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and run it all the way down until just shy of the electrical fence. Once I get more T-posts, we'll tie it in here and we'll take it back up that way, and then we'll also run it for our other cucumbers and our beans after that. right, so I got the little short piece of the trellis system done, and this kind of worked out good because it was like a little test to see if I like it, and actually I think I do. Now I'm going to start. I already did this one plant, and I'm going to go ahead and start kind of feeding them. So I got it lightly running on there, and so now we just need to do the same with like this guy. And so I'll just lightly, so that way he'll start running. I'm not going to bend it too much. I'm just going to very lightly hook him on there because he's pretty small right now still. So I'm just going to lightly let that one hang there, and hopefully he'll start running up there as well. And I'll come up here each day and check on him. Now this one's real small. I'm not sure if there's enough to quite hook on here quite yet. Maybe I'll just turn them vertical like that for right now, and we'll see. I just don't want to put too much stress down here at the bottoms. Like I showed you in that one video, the bases of those plants that were dying, you know, they were very, very brittle. So today's supposed to be about 85, tomorrow's supposed to be 90. So we've had about a 15-degree jump plus no rain. So we got a good opportunity here to try to let some of this stuff dry out. So hopefully this will work out. Hopefully these plants will end up surviving. It'll be less I have to replant. Of course, see down there's 2 of them still alive, and there's a bunch dead in between. Good thing is our seed starts are especially the cucumber seed starts, they're booming, man. So I'm hoping, you know, I can maybe get the trellis system done and the new cucumbers in the ground all at one time. We'll see how things go, and hopefully we'll get that done. So we'll do an update here pretty soon when we get the rest of the trellis put in and we start getting some more stuff popped in. So hopefully we can get some things turned around. So I pointed out those Premier One fiberglass posts, and I said I was going to talk about those. So let me start off by saying I think Premier One makes really good products. I really like their electric fencing. However, if you make a product that I don't think is very good or could use some improvements, I'm going to let you know that too. My goal with you all is to be as honest as I can and try to tell you what I really think of it. Now, I'm not saying my opinions are the most accurate and the know-all be-all, as I'm very much a rookie with this, but at the same token, I know when you're first getting started in this type of stuff gets expensive, and I don't want people to hopefully waste their money on something that maybe doesn't really work very well if there's a better option that might even be cheaper or the same cost. With this Premier One electric netting, and this is the green poultry netting, however, I'm repurposing it around the garden, and it has worked fantastic for that. When I purchased the kit, it came with these posts, and what these posts are designed for is you put them, you can see like there's a lot of sag in this fence. So once you get the fence set up, to remove some of that sag, you pound these over into the corners, and then you draw tension like this, and it tightens up the fence. Well, the problem that I have with these is that they will, over time, I'll see if I can get one, do it by hand, but you can see how they bend. I'm sure since they are fiberglass that they're maybe designed that way so that they don't break and end up causing injury. However, I found that it doesn't take long for that bend, if you really want to get some tension on it to really make your fence good and tight, that it doesn't hold up. It bends in, and it just doesn't do very good. And I also don't like the way it ties off at the top. So what I have found that works better, and I'll show you, I've already done a few of them the other day before I had to go inside and work on some dinner, but I have found it's better just to get the cheaper, smaller gauged green T-posts, and then all I do is I just tie around just the actual post itself, not to have any contact with the wire, although I repurpose my hay bale twine because it's very durable and it doesn't break down, and it's non-conductive, so I think even if it touched, I don't think it would really impact anything. But then all I do is I just tie it to the post right there, and I have found that if you do that, it'll hold itself for as long, until the post comes out of the ground. Pretty much it's gonna support itself. I've already pounded these ones in. I got this one I need to get done, and there's another one down on that end that I need to get tied off, and that should have this fence good and tight, and I'll have these supports all the way around. So what I like about using these light gauge posts is, if you see right there, it has a hole in it. So I'll actually start by feeding it through the hole. That way I don't have to worry about it slipping off the top here. And then I feed that, and I just tie a standard knot around here. So then I bring it back over here and I do a slip knot. So then if over time, if from the heat from the sun or anything, if it loosens up this wire or this fence becomes a little loose, is all I got to do is I just slide that slip knot and I tighten it down from right there, and it works out pretty good. So we just got to get this last one tied off real quick, and then we should have this fence pretty good and tight. Now you can see, you're never gonna get this fence like extremely tight, but the biggest thing, you wanna keep it nice and taut because you wanna try to eliminate as much contact that the electrified strands will have with the actual ground, because that can ground out your fencing. It'll still usually have some power to it, but it won't be near the strength of what you want to keep most any critters out that might get to your garden. So I definitely suggest, instead of using the fiberglass posts, the ones I got came with the kit, but instead of purchasing more of those, by all means get the cheaper T-posts and just use those. And in my opinion, they work a whole lot better. All right, y'all, we shared with you in the last video about our man Henry had to have his surgery, get his hernia repaired and his castration done. So we closed out that video, not really showing him healed up. He was still pretty well under some of that anesthesia and was trying to come out of it. So let's go over here, let's check on him and let y'all see how he's doing. They're both in their bed, just sleeping hard. Let me see if I can quietly catch up to him. You wagging your tail, brother? Oh, did I scare you? Oh, that tail's just going a million miles a minute. You feel so much better now, don't you? Huh? Hey, I don't want to disturb your nap. I just want to let everybody see you and know that you're doing good. Y'all go back to sleep. You get your rest. We got Henry back probably about 2 o'clock that day, and when I came out around 6:30, he was walking around. Now he was kind of walking slow, and you could tell he was in some pain, but overall he was doing well. He ate that night. He's been on his medicine, and now he's pretty much back to his normal self and seems to be doing just fine. So just want to give y'all a quick update on that. So guys, that's going to wrap up today. Just a little update in the garden, trying to run the trellis system. Some of the stuff starting to come together little by little. So we're starting to make a turn to hopefully get some improvement on what so far has been a disastrous garden. I appreciate all those that have given me some tips of information and some stuff. And there is a good chance that next year's garden may look very different. However, we're going to persevere with what we got now, do the best we can with it, and we'll go from there. So guys, y'all take care. Be good to one another. Spend time with your family. Be good. And we'll see you here real soon on the next video. Y'all be safe.